everyone, it's Rune the AngelDragon here, and I am so excited that I get to do a Q&A with you. I don't know if you're excited, but I'm excited about it. I did not think that so many people would have so many questions. Granted, I know that they were, they wanted to support me in my YouTube channel, and they really want to be nice, but then there are some people that actually had some legitimate questions that they're like, ooh, do you have this? Do you have this? And it's after 2 or 3 people were like, okay, I'll play along. Here's a question for you. Then everybody else just jumped on that bandwagon and they all wanted to ask me a question, which I think is awesome because now I have enough questions that I can actually do multiple Q&A videos in between my other videos. So there's lots of questions to answer, and so I decided that I'm going to answer as many as I can this time around, and we'll see what happens. So I'm just going to read a couple of them at a time, and we'll just kind of go with that, because I have no idea how long this video in total will be if I didn't split them up the way that I was going to. Alrighty, so for our first question, we have Maya Wolf. Sorry, I have to get super close to see it. We have Maya Wolf on Facebook, which asked, when did you get into furries? And this is one of those questions that it's not very long, it just doesn't make much sense. I didn't get into the furry fandom until later on in my life, but furries in general, I guess I've always had an interest in them since I was, I'd say at least 16. I was in my junior year of high school, and it was because of an older friend that I ended up figuring out what a furry was, or at least a section of what furries were. And he's the one that kind of pointed me in the general direction of furries, and then the rest of it kind of just came from my own research on the subject. But from what I had seen and from what I had been looking up, and I was playing for Cadia at this time too, so I would say that I generally got into furries around the time that I was about 16, 17 years old, and I was a junior in high school at the time, so that was a long time ago. This was about 9 years ago, so I've almost been in the furry fandom for, or at least known about furries extensively for almost 10 years at this point. This question is from Devonair Eamon Richardson off of Facebook, and I'm sorry if I pronounce your name wrong, I'm terrible with pronouncing names. But this person asked, my question is, what got you into becoming a furry, or were you a furry to begin with? Now, this kind of follows up with the last question saying when I became, I guess, acquainted with furries, or how long it's been since I was into furries. So again, I kind of learned about furries my junior year of high school. I was about 16 years old at this point, and 16, 17. And what got me into furries was actually my friend. His name was Dylan. In the furry fandom, I don't know if he's still in it or not, but he went by Tom Yifu at the time, and he was a purple cat with a top hat. And then he later became a Sergal, so I don't know if he's in it anymore. But he caught me one day drawing a werewolf on a piece of paper, and this werewolf looked just like me, as it had glasses, it had my hair, it was wearing the same baggy Jinko hoodie that I wore every day. It was me, essentially, as a wolf. And he kind of just chuckled to himself. We were in chemistry class, and I asked him, I was like, what's so funny? And he went, huh, you're a furry. And I was like, I don't understand what a furry is. And he's like, you know. And I was like, no, I don't know. And so he ended up explaining a little bit about the furry fandom, and the way he explained it, it was kind of, it's not that it's wrong, it's just it's not as, I guess, specific and correct as it could have been. But he said, oh, furries are people that come up with animal characters to represent themselves. And they like furry artwork, which is more animal characters. And they admire it and blah, that kind of stuff. And I was like, okay. And so I was like, oh crap. So because I'm drawing myself as a wolf, I'm a furry? And he goes, well, how often do you draw yourself as a wolf? and I slowly closed my notebook, which had all these drawings of me as a wolf. And he went, "Yeah, you're a furry." And I was really worried at the time because I thought maybe being a furry was a bad thing. Because I knew that my friend was kind of into the darker sides of that, you know, the more adult sections of being a furry. So that's pretty much what got me into furries in the first place, was because I was already drawing myself as a wolf. And the more I researched it, the more I realized that I had a lot in common with those in the furry fandom, where I appreciated the anthropomorphic art. I liked the fact that I could create my own animal character. And I honestly just really liked the fursuits. I thought that they were really cool. At the time, I did not want to have one. But I would like to actually meet someone with one, and I wanted to like give him a hug and be like, "Oh, you're awesome, you're so fuzzy." And so I wasn't always a furry. It took me a while to kind of accept that I was one, because where I'm from, they have a terrible reputation. There's a lot of misconceptions about them, so I kind of considered myself something of a I wouldn't say closet fur, but it's known as an adjacent fur, where I'm in the fandom, but if someone were to ask, "Are you a furry?" I was like, no, I'm not. Nowadays, someone's like, "Are you a furry?" And I'm like, "Yeah. What's wrong with that?" You know, I instantly just go, "Yes, I am. Nice to meet you." You know? So no, I wasn't always a furry. It took me a few years to kind of just learn about the fandom, figure out if I really was a furry, as in, could I actually be part of this fandom? Did I belong in this fandom? And yeah, so junior year of high school, I say I wouldn't have associated myself as a furry until like way later, when I started actually figuring stuff out and talking to some people outside of my friend to figure out what was really going on with the whole furry thing. Alrighty, and so our next question comes from Rain Wilson, also on Facebook, and they asked, "Why did you pick a Dutch AngelDragon / AngelDragon as your character, and why do you find the species appealing?" Which, I actually like that people actually ask these in-depth questions. The only problem is that I really just don't have an in-depth answer for you. I picked a Dutch AngelDragon, an AngelDragon, after I'd already picked my main persona. My main persona, as most people will come to learn later on, is not Rune. I actually have a winged wolf, a blue winged wolf, which was my first persona, and she's my main, and I mostly identify with her. Rune was kind of just a mascot idea for this blog that I wanted to do, and later I kind of fell in love with him. And also, as I've told a couple people, I might have already explained here, I never wanted to fursuit, ever. And then I ended up finding a video of Telephone, and I saw Telephone going around and sniffing and squeaking at people, and I've mascotted in the past. I was Miss Mouse for a charity event. It's called the Mouse House, and I got to dress as Miss Mouse, which was their mascot. Giant mouse head, huge, like totally spacious. And I really liked the feeling of just being this character that brought smiles to people's faces. And as my wolf, I never saw her as the type that children would be like, "Oh, yay!" and that other people would be like, "Oh my gosh, you're adorable." My wolf was very, I don't know, she has a very, I wouldn't say seductive personality. She's cocky. There we go. She's very cocky. She'd probably have more of a serious look. She's skinny and beautiful. I am very chubby and curvy, and so I just never thought that the two of us as one thing in a suit would mix. So when I saw the video of Telephone, I really wanted to know what species that was, because to me, I knew it was like a dragon thing, but it looked like a bunny mixed with a dragon, mixed with like something else, maybe a chipmunk, and I was like, what is this thing? And so I went on a wild goose chase all over the internet trying to figure out what Telephone was, and it led me to the Dutch AngelDragons, the lore of how Eno had a horse, the horse passed away, and it inspired this whole species to come about, and the more I read about it, the more I was becoming intrigued. Well, then I got down to the species rules, which was like no muzzle ring, none of this. Back then your designs had to be approved, and I don't know, they hadn't updated the website in some time, and so there was just all these rules, all these little things that you had to go through, these avenues in order to make a Dutch Angel Dragon. And I was kind of distraught. I really wanted to make a Dutchie, but at the same time, I didn't want Rune to have to follow the lore of the Dutchies. I didn't want him to have to go through an approval process, because if I designed him and I liked the design, I really would hate it if someone told me to change it. So then I found the regular angel dragons, which at the time there was a lot of confusion. I thought that they were created by the same people. I thought that Eno had maybe created the two so that Dutch angel dragons were for people wanting to be part of the more elite species, I guess, so to say, if they wanted to follow the lore, whereas angel dragons were for people that still wanted to create something similar but didn't want to have to follow the lore. So I created an angel dragon, a regular angel dragon, and that was Rune. And then later on, I found out that Rune actually doesn't break any Dutch angel dragon rules. So people kind of just confuse him as a Dutchie, but he really was not made to be a Dutch. He was made to just be an angel dragon because he never shifts out of chibi form. Rune has no feral form, and even if he does have a feral form, he still looks chibi. He doesn't look like a horse. So I basically just kind of consider him a little bit of both. I know that the Dutch angel dragons say you have to be one or the other, but it's like, when I'm in a Dutchie group, he's a Dutchie. When I'm in an angel dragon group, he's an angel dragon. And I have two separate versions of him, depending on which forum I'm in. So the angel dragon one looks more like a dragon, whereas the Dutchie one looks more like a Dutchie. I find the species appealing because I think they're adorable, honestly. I think they're cute, I think they're fun, I think that everybody adores them. I think that, because of Telephone, they've become a massive hit. I think that they're a huge part of the furry fandom now, and people find that their designs are some of the most creative. And I think that they just have a wonderful community. Honestly, it was the community that kind of made it most appealing, outside of the fact that they're just freaking adorable. And they have these ears that I adore. So yeah, definitely mostly appealing because of their cuteness and the fact that their community just seemed very tight-knit, very loving. Even the angel dragon community is the same way. They're very tight-knit, very loving, very accepting. And I think that's what I've always just looked for in a fandom. Never really thought I belonged anywhere until I created Rune, and everybody's like, "Oh, Rune's so cute. He's so adorable. He's so lovable. I love his markings." And it was in that moment that, for the first time in the furry fandom, I felt like I was noticed, I guess. So I know I'm rambling at this point, but definitely that's why I chose to be an angel dragon, because I felt like I could actually belong there. And honestly, so far, I have. People have been very kind to me and very great, and people really love Rune and have supported me and helped me, and it's really been amazing. And how could you say no to this face? He's just too cute. So, but yeah, that's an awesome question, and definitely thanks for asking, because it's nice to be able to talk about it a little bit. Our next question comes from Lily Hamble Brown on Facebook, and they drew me a very lovely, very, very lovely gift piece of art, which I think is wonderful, and I'll have to show you someday. But they went ahead and asked, have you ever watched How to Train Your Dragon? And if so, who is your favorite dragon and favorite writer? And she said that they don't have to be together, they could be separate. The thing is she's like, oh, you can like AcidAD as a writer and Toothless as a dragon. And just one moment, I should have grabbed this before. Toothless is my faves. Like, I have seen the movie, and I've seen all the movies. I've seen all the short movies. And the thing is, like, they're great movies. I think they're wonderful. I'm not a big movie person, as in I can't sit and watch movies a bazillion times over. However, How to Train Your Dragon, because I watch children, they're always like, put on Toothless! And I'm like, okay. So I do tend to watch it a lot. Toothless is definitely my favorite dragon. The only other dragons I like is Hiccup's mother. I like her dragon. I like the more accented dragons, I guess. The two-headed one and the pudgy one, I don't know. I tend to take my dragons very seriously, so if they look kind of silly, I don't really care for them. I do like Toothless because he does look like a kitty cat. I do like it because he has a really good lore about him, and I think that he envisions more of what I would imagine a type of dragon in that world to look like. So that's definitely my thing about it. Astrid, it turns out, is actually my favorite writer. I like her because she is strong. I like her because she's not the stereotypical damsel in distress. Second to Astrid is actually the female twin. I don't remember all the names. I'm terrible with names, so I apologize. But definitely the female twin is my second favorite. I tend to go more towards female characters, especially if they're given a powerful warrior role, because as a kid, I always wanted to be a warrior. I was like, I'm gonna be a knight. I'm gonna be a superhero. And I was always told, you're a girl, you can't do any of that. So seeing a female Viking character, I'm like, yes! Because they're just so awesome. So Astrid is definitely my favorite just because she's kind of how I would have liked to have seen myself being younger. And yeah, so, but I got this actually for my my wife. I got this for her. He's our piggy bank, and we got him at Walmart. So he's our little savings fund, but I do love Toothless. Toothless is freaking adorable, and I do hope that they actually continue the series and maybe explain a little bit more, go into more depth about night furies and stuff. So I actually think that that would be very awesome. So thank you for your question. I love those movies. I think they're fantastic. Alrighty, so there was a lot more questions than what I thought. These videos are really, really long, so this is the end of part 1. I do have a part 2 because I did answer all of the first chunk of questions. There's going to probably be 1 or 2 more parts, and hopefully I'll get to those as soon as possible. There might be a part 3, there might be a part 4, who knows. I still have more questions to answer, and I know that there's going to be like another Q&A, and it'll probably have a part 2 and a part 3, and then there's going to be another Q&A after that, and it'll have a part 2 and a part 3, so thank you guys so much for all your questions. They've honestly been very amazing. I've had a wonderful time answering them, and I hope I can do more of them for you. So that's going to be my weekend project, or my next Tuesday project, who knows. So just be looking out for those, and again, thank you so much. I'm already up to 17 subscribers. If I can make it to, I'd say if I can make it to 25 or 30 subscribers, I want to do an art raffle. I really want to draw something for somebody or give a gift or something, and I'll probably make a video about that, you know, to really thank you guys for being a part of this project of mine and really supporting me and getting Rune's head and doing this fursuiting thing. It's been wonderful and amazing, and it's been so much fun. And I've loved talking to all of you and thanking you for your questions, and it's been great. So thank you again. Can't wait to see you in the next parts of the Q&A, and I'll talk to you all later. All right, bye. Oh my gosh, this is what your face looks like after freaking wearing this head for like 40 minutes. There's so many questions, and I've already spent 40 minutes answering them. Oof. I'm in my house. There's AC in my house, and there's a fan going. It's this hot. Man, I hope this helps me lose weight, you know? Then my cheeks won't squish so much when I put the head on. Oh, burning up, though. You guys ask a lot of questions.